And I think it's very moving, the idea that Jesus spends time in prayer for all the places that are trying to be faithful, and for all the people that are trying to share him with the world, and for all the difficulties of being a person of faith in a world that isn't always friendly to the faith. There's just that is such a profound idea that if you've ever known someone who is a prayer warrior and they've committed to a season to pray for you, maybe you've had a health challenge, maybe it's been in a time of loss or struggle, and you have faced those moments knowing that people held you up in prayer genuinely and regularly. It is a humbling and encouraging thing. And now imagine that to those voices, Jesus adds his very own, praying for those who seek to follow him. There's something unique and wonderful when read through that lens.
A word that theologians will use regarding John is they'll talk about dualism. They'll talk about how there's these different things that seem to be at odds with each other, or at least in tension. And I think that you're going to see one of those tensions right here in the text, this idea in verse 16, they do not belong to the world just as I do not belong to the world. Sanctify them. Verse 18, as you've sent me into the world, so I sent them into the world. And I think that this is really important, Clint, that we recognize. Yes, there's a lot of light and darkness in John, but don't miss this. The light is always sent into the darkness. The people, the disciples are always sent into the world. Yes, there's some tensions, but the movement is always the same. Those who have been called by God are sent by God to be witnesses. We never get rid of the world. We never are sent out of the world. This isn't like we're trying to move from Earth to another planet. That's not the conception that Jesus shares. It's instead that we are redeemed for the sake of the world. We see Jesus so that we can tell the world about him. It's a radically different way of collapsing those things that seem dualistic. They seem like they're at odds, but they're ultimately one serves the other. And I think that Jesus portrays that in the way that he lives, and now he explicitly talks about it as he addresses God. So I think as we hear Jesus' prayer, it's not just that he's praying for us, though that is an unbelievable gift.